Hello, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And welcome to Impossible Mission here on the Geek Show video game chat all night long. Don't know why you worded it like that, but let's roll with it anyway.
That was a bizarre turn of phrase.
Well, yeah, it just came out of nowhere, so to speak. So, this week we're talking about whether it's worth buying a game day one.
Ooh.
And by extension, with the new consoles just round the corner, is it worth buying a console day one?
I would say, I know my answer to that, but I'll answer that question when we come to that question.
So start with games first.
We haven't arrived at the console question yet, so I'm not going to answer it yet. But with games, it's a tough one because there are plenty of games that I want to play, when they come out. But I'm very conscious of the fact that releasing games in an incomplete form has become a kind of a norm in video games.
I wouldn't be as black and white about it as that. I mean, yes, it is true, but there's so many moving parts that it's hard to pick up everything. Some studios are much more guilty of it, of literally releasing incomplete games, and other companies just have bugs that they couldn't really see unless it has millions of people testing it at the same time.
Yeah.
So there's a sliding scale of this stuff. There's companies that were genuinely cavalier with it, and there's companies who just don't have the manpower.
Well, I mean, you look at stuff like Dragon Age 2, Fallout New Vegas, Fable 3, just to rattle off a few. Skyrim was notoriously incomplete when it came out.
I don't think they ever actually finished Skyrim, because that game is just a mess.
Well, I think the biggest example would be GTA 5.
I can't remember, to be honest.
GTA 5 was, there were bits of it that hadn't been finished when it came out.
Okay.
So, for a lot of it, it was great, but there was a bug in the game, and it was a massive one when it came out. And it basically, I think you might remember this bug, when players parked their car in certain garages, they lost that car forever. No way to get it back. And that was a problem with the game, because the game had a certain section missing. And so that's what I mean. You run the risk with certain titles, and it kind of you kind of go, okay, am I willing to risk spending money and being frustrated because something happened with the game in order to enjoy the game? Because for me, that just seems a bit kind of taking one step forward, two steps back.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, it is the done thing, isn't it? You buy it on opening day. It's still what people do.
Yeah, you buy the game on opening day, you take it home, you play it, or you download it, and then you play it. You're already at home, so you don't need to take it home. You play the game, you enjoy the game, then you get frustrated and angry because something happens with the game, And I just think that if you're, if that's your idea of fun, then maybe just try different forms of fun.
Well, you are a cynical boy today, aren't you?
I am. I am salty as hell today because I've been painting and and my arms hurt.
Am I talking a slightly high from paint fumes, Rob?
No, he's slightly high and angry and annoyed that my arms hurt from painting. But my point is that if I buy a game, I want to take it home, relax, enjoy the game. I'll download it, play the game, relax, enjoy the game. I don't want to end up in a situation where I'm shouting at my PC or my console and I'm swearing at the developers and saying if I ever find out who released this game incomplete, I am going to rip their testicles off.
It's not as sinful as it used to be in a lot of occasions, though. I mean, it used to be really egregious stuff, but now it's just bugs. Mostly it's just bugs.
Why not? CD Projekt Red gets a lot of love from gamers because of what they did with The Witcher 3.
Yeah, no, but it wasn't released, perfect.
No, and I mean, obviously there were still some bugs and glitches, but it wasn't incomplete.
No.
Whereas games like Fallout New Vegas were very, very incomplete.
Well, there's a reason behind that, though. They were basically taught to make a game in, a year.
Yeah.
A totally new game with recycled assets in a year.
All right, okay. What about Fallout 76 then? What's that excuse?
Bethesda are awful. There's no excuse.
Was it Black Ops 4? Was another one that was notorious for...
I don't follow Call of Duty, so I don't know what the issue there was.
Yeah. Do you know what I've found, what I've noticed though? A lot of the time, it seems to be these games that are less of a curated experience and more of a look. Let's whack a multiplayer on this, and and then we can make more money from that.
Well, the games that are tailored around multiplayer seems to be the games that are much more important for people to get day one. Because, say, for example, I bought Spider-Man and Horizon way after release date.
Yeah.
Patched completely. Loved them totally. Didn't affect my opinion of them or my appreciation of them because I bought them after the fact. However, if I wanted to buy The Division or Destiny this far out,
Yeah.
it'd be pointless because they are community-driven games and it's about getting a level of experience through playing. So you have to kind of buy them as soon as they are out. So it's kind of one rule for one type of game, another rule for another.
Yeah, this is what I meant when I said the curated experience, because the Spider-Man game, God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, they're single-player games with very little emphasis on multiplayer. In fact, no emphasis on multiplayer.
With the exception of Red Dead, but yeah.
Yeah, but Spider-Man has no emphasis on multiplayer.
No, none at all.
There's not multiple web swingers going through in some weird multiplayer battle.
Although, who knows in the sequel, but I'm not going to fill out that far because it's a spoiler. So.
Hang on. Is this the sequel that is also the hit musical from Kimmy Schmidt? Spider-Man 2, Too Many Spider-Men.
Yeah, let's go with that one. That's the safest option in this situation.
Because if they go with that, if it's Spider-Man 2, Too Many Spider-Men,
yeah,
that would be amazing.
Okay. Well, that's my point, though. I mean, if it depends on the game. If it's like a community, online, competitive, or team-based thing, fair enough. Yeah, buy it day one. It's going to be buggy because those things are sort of constantly updated processes and experiences. But I'd say with single-player specific ones, I'd say give it a few weeks and you're probably in for the best experience of what that game is. See,
the thing that annoys me, and has annoyed me for a while, is the advent of DLC has basically been the cause of games being released in an incomplete form.
Well, with studios like EA, Activision, Bethesda, yes, not everybody, but them.
Not everybody, but the thing is, when the big boys are doing it, the little boys will follow suit because kids copy what adults do.
I wouldn't describe Android Wilson as an adult or the guy who owns Bethesda as an adult.
I'm not describing them as adults. I'm describing the businesses as adults, not them themselves.
Public faces. But go on, yeah.
But my point is that if Bethesda does things a certain way, and EA does things a certain way, and Ubisoft does things a certain way, then small publishers are going to do exactly the same because, hey, if it's good enough for them, then it's good enough for me.
The sauce coming off this bite today.
Yeah, but this is my point. DLC, by its nature, is not a bad thing. It becomes a bad thing when a developer or a publisher looks at the game and says, well, hang on, we could take this section here and we could offer it as DLC, so it's extra paid content, more money in our coffers, more money for the developers.
Well, the classic example is Ubisoft with their pre-order bonuses. I think there's like 4 separate places that you could pre-order from, and there wasn't one where you could buy it and get the complete experience.
Yeah.
What you're saying is a thing, and that's fine, but I think much bigger problem is the fact that it's carving up the game for pre-order bonuses and nobody gets the full thing.
Well, yeah, the pre-order bonuses is a problem, but I think that the big cancer is the carving up the game for DLC.
Well, that horse is that's an old horse, but yeah.
It's still there.
Yeah, I know, but it's not as prominent as it once was, but it's there.
Yeah, but my point is that there was a time when you released a game, right, and that game was complete, and you basically played all the versions of that game, yeah? You had the New Game Plus and everything like that. Everything was included on the disc or on the download, but that was the complete game that you got, right? You got what you paid for, yeah?
Yeah.
But now, because of this thing called DLC, and again, this comes back to why CD Projekt Red are so beloved by gamers, because they made the distinction between expansion and DLC. A lot of people say it's because they released the game in a more complete form and took the time to do that. Okay, yeah, that's part of it. A lot of people say it's because because they didn't charge for the DLC. That's part of it as well. But personally, I think it's because they made a clear distinction between DLC and expansion, where they said, and the reason why the DLC was free was because they weren't treating the DLC as extra content. It was extra content for the game, but it didn't fundamentally change the game or the storyline of the game.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean? I'm just saying that day one games, generally what you want is that experience, the whole game, in the palm of your hands, or on your PC or console or whatever, so you can sit down and enjoy it, and you don't need to get frustrated because there are bits missing.
Okay. I'm not going to get stuck on that though, because there's much more going on as far as why you should or shouldn't get a game day one than that.
Yeah.
But we'll describe it as that, if it's a online community-led thing, by all means, yes. But if not, don't bother. Wait a few weeks, at least.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not a big FIFA player, and you know this, Rob.
But if you're going to play it online with one team, get it day one. But if not, just wait.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more likely to play FIFA against Rob and lose horribly since I don't really play FIFA that often.
I just have a lot of muscle memory from playing thousands of hours of football games over the years.
Yeah, I've played loads of football games over the years, and I've got decent muscle memory, but the last time I played FIFA was, 7-8 months ago.
Second part of this question, is it worth getting a new console day release?
See, my automatic answer is no.
However, we're probably going to have to because of what we do.
Yeah. And that's why I'm just kind of sucking my teeth and going.
Because there's questions here. I mean, if you're going to get it day one, it's almost 100% guaranteed it's going to do less than your Xbox One or your PS4 is.
Yeah.
Because those consoles are constant work in progress. The hardware is the same, although they'll release later versions of it with slight differences, like a bigger hard drive or slight difference in texture on the box or whatever, these little things. But it's software where the console grows over time. It depends what you want, really, because there's never been a release of a console where somebody's got it on day one and thought, oh, all of these games are all excellent, I'm going to be playing these for ages. There's launch games are genuinely pretty shocking. Might be one good one, but yeah.
Just gonna say 2 words to you, okay? And I want all you viewers and listeners out there to just wait for Rob to wince when I say these 2 words. The bouncer.
Oh, I thought he was going to go with giant crab, but because that was like Genji, wasn't it, on PlayStation 3? But bouncer, the bouncer was not good. Oof. It was Square's attempt to do a sort of Streets of Rage style game, and if memory serves, all you needed to do was basically press square throughout the entirety of the game and you'd finish it.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where it was at PlayStation, whatever, and it's like, oh, look at this new game. This looks amazing. Look at the graphics on this. And then it was released, and it was like, oh, no.
It was the launch game for the PlayStation 2.
It was like, oh, no, this is not good. But the thing here is, also on the game software front, it's going to be weird because of this whole backwards compatibility, this smart update thing.
Yeah.
So your PlayStation 4 games and your Xbox One games are going to basically play fine on your next console.
Yeah, but I think that... See, I've always been a fan of backwards compatibility.
So, just on that, it's going to be a soft upgrade to the next gen. It's not going to be a hard, totalitarian one.
I think that's actually a really good thing for the for Sony and Microsoft to do, as well as for the gamers themselves. I think, in general, unless there's a fundamental change in technology, in the way that the console works and the way that it's presenting games, like the difference between the Wii U and the Switch, yeah?
Yeah, which is total.
That was the fundamental paradigm shift in how Nintendo were doing things. Yeah. And unless there's something like that, I think you should just go for the soft option, because you make your fans happy. Backwards compatibility isn't a lot. Okay, maybe between the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3, maybe it was slightly too complicated because of the way the consoles were made.
Although that being said, there's a lot of classics on the PlayStation 3 which I really want them to just bring back in some way, even if it's just an online download on the store, which is compatible and slightly swooshed, so it's like HD.
Here's the thing: if you already own a physical copy of that game, right? If you already own a physical copy of that game, why not do what Microsoft did when they said, "Okay, we're going to make these games backwards compatible with the Xbox 360," saying the Xbox One was going to be backwards compatible.
It's the same infrastructure, isn't it? So they designed that machine with that in mind.
Yeah, but the thing is, initially they weren't going to allow backwards compatibility, but the outcry changed their minds. But what they did was something that Sony could easily do. Sony could easily implement on PSN.
Oh, on PSN, yeah, totally.
If you had the disc for that game, you could download that. You could download a digital version of the game to your Xbox One console for free.
Yeah, they won't do that though. But it's hard to say. If you game in a normal way and not in a exhaustive way, you just buy games you like games, and you're not in a hurry to go next gen. There's absolutely no point in you getting it day one.
Yeah,
no point whatsoever.
If you're like us and it's work, then
as well, yeah, you kind of have to.
You're right, though. I mean, there's no point in getting it day one if you don't need to.
Like, wait for the first price drop. The first price drop, maybe like 8-10 months, a year, something like that. That's the time you want to really get in there.
Yeah.
Because there's a catalogue to support it. Before then, it's kind of... The early adopters have to put up with all the nonsense and rubbish and buggy software things where it's all been updated almost constantly.
Yeah.
Because even though the console is released, it's not complete. It comes complete with software updates. Because look at the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One now. They are not the same machines they are when they were released. So much has changed.
A hell of a lot's changed.
So I'd say, in the case of consoles, don't bother buying it day one. It's just not really worth it.
There's too many bugs. There's too many things that can go wrong with the console. And, a lot of people, when they have the new console, tend to try and fix it themselves, which is always a bad idea. You know the type I'm on about.
The only problem I can say is with the storage space on both, but they have this new thing done when they have modular memory cards, basically.
Yeah.
So maybe they've got around the problem of having small hard drives, because 1 terabyte, even the Xbox One, which is the bigger of the two hard drives with 1 terabyte, it's still small for your games library.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hang tight on both, really. Unless you're buying games to, call people noobs and porn people and do online rubbish, then yeah, by all means, day one, but not worth it.
I think with video games, if it's a single-player curated experience, then, I think you'll be all right with a day one release. But if it's a multiplayer thing or it's a sports game or something like that, a day one release is probably essential for you to get if you're heavily invested in that particular world.
Because people get so good at it so quick. To be competitive, you have to be in at the same time as everybody else.
But if you don't care about any of the games conversations that we're talking about right now, then you probably don't play that many games, so, don't buy them on day one.
Not really applying to them. They won't be listening or watching this, will they? No. Okay, so that's this week on Impossible Mission. Thanks for watching or listening. We'll see you next time.